Hello everybody, my name's Gaz Williams and today I'm going to be showing the Noodler. I'm just getting like little technical things sorted and I think we're good to go. So let's see what this Noodler is exactly. Okay, here it is, and it's a nicely made metal construction thing, but what is it? It's a MIDI processor, I think, is probably one way you could describe it, but that's a bit of a boring description. It's also, well, it's called the Noodler. And the Noodler, the name itself, is like the best description for it. It generates lots of MIDI notes. So you can then route those MIDI notes to your different synthesizers. So I'm going to be using, in Motif position 1, the error bus, so that's going to be Motif 1. Motif 2 is going to be the neutron, and then the pad is going to be the DeepMind 12, and the drone is going to be the Dreadbox Abyss. So what's cool about this setup is all synthesizers are analog synths, okay? So we're sending out MIDI information to the analog synths, and I'm going to do that using the key step here, and I can change what MIDI channel I'm playing on here. So I can play at the different synths. Let's have a look. In 3. That little fella actually is a rocket over there. In 4. Oh, very thin sound, but that's the neutron up there. Okay. In 5, yeah, that's the DeepMind, and in 6, dark and gloomy, the Abyss, and in 7, the juicy Erebus, in 8, the Strike Fet. Okay, right. So that's basically what's going on. Right. So let's get to it. What is the Noodler? So the Noodler can generate 4 channels, pad, drone, and 2 motifs. We're in a particular key, and we're in G minor, and around here are buttons which relate to the different chords that are available to us in G minor. Now we can change everything, and we will do some of that, but let's have a look. The first thing we're going to do, I'm going to set off a pad. Okay, so here we go. Right, so the pad is being modulated. Let me just turn that off for a moment. Woohoo! Well, that's jumping the gun a little bit. We'll come back to that. But yes, modulations. We have got down here, we have got a bunch of modulations. We got 8, in fact. Okay, the menu button, and then pressing these, the push encoders, takes us to the settings. And basically, we've got 4 encoders. So the screen is split in half. So this top half controls, say, modulation 1, modulation 2, then press that again, modulation 3, modulation 4, etc. And that's actually cool because it lets us do all sorts of stuff with the modulation matrix. We can move all sorts of stuff around. We'll do that in a mo. But let's just concentrate on the pad. Okay, let's set a pad off again. Let's not mess around. Let's make a patch from scratch. Okay. Prog compare. Hey. Let's get a bit funky now with this chord. Okay, so as the chord is playing, it's not a chord, it's a single note. Hang on, what's going on? Let's get some more notes going. Poly. Oh yes. Why there's no notes going? Range. Let's turn the range up. We can see notes. So as that pad is droning, I can move it around. Let's just make nice slow attacks on here. So as I sweep that around, and then I can make it wider, adding more notes in. So a little look at the DeepMind. Let's bring some, That'll do for a moment. Let's move this. Okay, so we've got our chord, our pad. As I push the buttons, it plays the different chords within a scale, okay? So we'll just go over that. So it'll just carry that chord going endlessly until I choose to play a different one. Now, we're going to bring in a drone now. Okay, and the drones, you can make them behave in a different way to the pad. So the drone, let's just get a drone going. The drone is coming from the abyss. So we've got our drone, our lovely drone going there. Let's have a look what we can do with the drone. This controls the drone and is 3 levels. And basically, pressing the encoder will cycle through the levels. There's a little triangle here. It's pointing up at the moment, meaning that it's on position. But as I cycle through the different... Now, this is going to change what notes the drone... how many notes the drone's made up of. At the moment, it's just a single note. I could add a 5th. Oops, let's just cue a new. It's got a 5th in there now. Yeah, nice. That drone sounds lovely, doesn't it? Okay, so let's see what happens if I bring the pad back in now. Oh, let's get some watch me levels. Let's try changing the chord. Now, the drone is moving with the chord changes. See, it's quite nice. It gives you, when you're in this mode, you can see what the notes. I press the bottom one, which is tempo, key and mode. You can see what the notes are. So it's which is currently the kind of in scale notes. Okay. So you can just let it do its thing and reach over and make it change the chords when you want it to. But also what becomes quite good fun is you can apply the modulators to the chord changes. So let's do that now. In that last example, the drone was changing with the chords, but we can change that with the control, the trigger control of the drone. So the little arrow's pointing down now. So now the trigger controls. You can do a bunch of things. You can make the drone sort of fire at different times. So like, you know, like once every 3 bars, once every twice. I think is that 2. I think that's 1 bar, and then 1 bar off, 1 bar off. It'll just it'll do new triggers. Let's see. You know, so it'll trigger the envelope again. I can leave it now just being, it won't change with the chords. Let's get the chords playing now. So it'll just drone incessantly. Let's bring it down a little bit. Sorry about the camera movement, everyone. let's see. Okay. Okay. Let's put some modulations on the chords. So go into the menu. I'm going to move this now to chord degree. Okay. I'm going to choose a modulator. This one's quite cool. Basically 48 beats. And let's have a look what happens now. Let's watch the chords. They're going to change. So the depth of that modulation affects how these chords are changing. Let's go into those modulation settings. Let's reduce the modulation amount. So now the changes will be less dramatic. So what's quite nice is like it leaves you now time to go and play with your synths and eventually I think I might have put too little modulation now. Oh no, there it was, it did go. Let's make it like 16 beats long now. Okay. So I can go mess with things. So this is just dead dry, bone dry, just like... Because we could chuck loads of reverb on and it becomes spacey and lovely. I rather liked it with the drone is changing though with the chords, so I'm going to change that over. Hang on. So if I push the button, it'll affect... What? Will it... Okay, time for the motifs. You can think of the motifs a bit like arpeggiators. So let's just take these off for a minute and let's just play one. Here we go. Good old Erebus. Let's take some of that reverb off. Let's see what we can do with the motifs. So there's two motifs, and you toggle here. Oh, yeah. Shift and that acts as a panic. Okay. Motif 1, yellow. Motif 2. So there we go. Swap in which is which. But we can hear how that like kind of arpeggiator is changing with the modulation. Yeah. So we can put everything back in, and they'll come in. Now, if I go to the, you can define a MIDI channel. Here I'm going to go to MIDI channel 16. And this is cool. I'm basically controlling the chord changes. But it's nice how it's moving everything, it's keeping everything locked in musical rules. Look, let's change the key. And when you change the key, actually changes the key in circles of fifths. Now, it's only moving notes the least amount as possible, so it's kind of like essentially creating inversions all the time. I think we could turn that off actually, and there's a menu setting. Let's see what it sounds like. Chord invert. Oops, down here. So the chords will sound bigger jumps now. Actually, can't hear the chords so well here. Let's just take that one off a minute. I'm going to put chord invert back on anyway, but it's there. So that's nice to see that then, because it means that when you're moving between the chords, take the drone away. There we go. I might just dial in a nice pad from a preset for a moment from the DeepMind, because it's a lovely sounding synth. Haha. Let's bring that range down. Not the range, sorry, the position. Lower chords. I'll back off that reverb a bit now. Okay. We're going to play with the motif. Got to make sure you're editing the right one, so make sure I'm going to edit motif 1, it's in yellow, so I'm good to go. Right, motif controls down here. Alright, let's see what we can do. Position. So like position is like how it works with the pad as well. Okay. Toggle now to pattern length. For this pattern length we could be modulating this. Why don't we do that? So coming into here now. Basically these LFOs are kind of sort of like they're sort of ready to change motifs. You can make them be anything you want. So actually I've used the top one to change the chords. Okay, pattern length here, motif pattern length, 16 beats. Let's come out of that now. Of course, clock divider. So I'm going to change the pattern now. Now, these patterns here, these yellow things you can see, we can have like a zoomed mode on that. If I go shift and menu, we're now seeing, and this is a fully kind of jammable window here. This changes some different patterns. Double up that divider. Yeah, so when I was modulating the chord, that was just moving the chords around in A minor. What would happen if we applied a modulator to the key? Let's have a look. So, in the menu, I'm going to come in, I'm going to use one of these bottom ones here. Oh, here we go. And then I'm going to go here, and we can actually global key. We can modulate the global key. So this is, I've never seen this before. Being able to modulate the global key. So there we go, 10 seconds. So this will be crazy. But let's just do this so we can see stuff going on. So clearly going so fast, it's a bit too crazy. So let's, in this case now, I'm going to use LFO number 2. So there's 3 separate LFOs and a bunch of kind of preset ones. So we're using LFO number 2. Maximum length in time, 40 seconds, or you can have it change in beat amounts. So in this particular rig, I've got, this looper is the clock master, so the Noodler is actually following the clock that's coming from here. So we've got a tempo of 76.9. There's nothing playing yet, but I could like start some drums off and whatever, and the Noodler would be synced with it, but I just want to do it without that stuff for now. So let's change this now. We've got .48 beats. 48 beats is the longest it can be. So let's see the key. E flat minor, B flat minor, F minor, so it's like a bit, quite a weird thing. Crazy. Hang on. Oh yeah, so we've got global start and stop here. Starts them all. And then I can take out individual ones. Ah, we haven't got our Motif 2 working yet. Let's do that. You can check the MIDI channels. Alright. Okay. Let's get the tune in. Ah, very slow rate. This is running Neutron 2 firmware, and that's cool actually. It's worth checking out if you haven't already checked it out. The Neutron's got new firmware that lets you do a whole bunch of new cool stuff. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to try our 2 motifs together. Okay. There we go. They don't sound too hot together at the moment. Of course, we've got the kind of crazy key modulations going on here. Ooh, what's still playing? Alright, I'm going to try something else now. I'm going to send Motif 1 out to strike fret instead of the error bus. So, just a question of just routing it out. But what we can see now is, though, that you've got 4 16 channels, 4 sets of 16 channels, USB, and then you've got 2 MIDI ins and 2 MIDI outs on the DIN. So when you whiz through these now, so you go through. Oh, let's see if I can hold that steady. Like all the channels on MIDI channel 9. So basically, you can send things all sorts of places. So I'm going to go to the strike fit instead. Here we go. Okay. Neutron sounds great, doesn't it? Really cool. Let's get this. Let's get some. This bit more. Oh, there's a cool little trick I haven't shown you. Right. What you can do is you can choose like a special transpose track. The rocket is getting kind of routed through the Noodler. So that's me. So if I play the rocket from here, see, like I'm playing a chord. If I play the scale of C major, you see what's going on. Play the black notes. Yes. So what's actually happening here is the Noodler is constraining the notes to be whatever the key is. And of course we've got the key wildly modulating. Well, not so wildly modulating, but D flat minor, A flat minor, E flat minor. I can just whittle on the keys without even having to kind of consider what I'm playing. How rude is this? So like set everything off again. Let's just tame this up a little bit. God, it's a bit chaotic, hang on. Ah! Right. Okay. What's the easiest way to kind of tame this chaos? I reckon let's go into this modulation here. I think changing the key, I'm going to take that out for now. So the key's going to stay the same. It's locked in C minor now. But like, so if I change the key here, the middle setting. Oh, sorry, that's changing the key. Sorry, changing the mode, I meant to say. Changing the mode, we've got a bunch of scales. I'll get into those tonics in a moment. Here's Dorian. Lydian the modes, go through the modes. Gypsy minor, whole tone, minor pentatonic. Sorry. Okay, I'm good. Do you know what? I think I've done enough now. I'm gonna stop, I reckon. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing. I'm gonna do some more streaming with it where I'm not gonna be talking. I'm just gonna get into some jams. Because I haven't done very nice jams at all tonight. And this thing is capable of glorious jams. So it's not fair. But the thing is, it's such a unique proposition. I've never seen anything quite like it. It is something quite unique. And to that, I think it should be commended. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. You're so cool. Have a very, 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 very nice Christmas, or whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. Holidays, happy holidays, happy holidays. Or just happy life, no matter what you're doing. And I'll catch you soon. Thanks again.